You've been lying to yourself. Not because you wanted to, but because it was easier. Easier to keep smiling when you were breaking inside. Easier to agree when every bone in your body wanted to scream, no! You've bent over backward to please the world, thinking it would love you back. But here's the truth they never told you. They only fear you when you stop pleasing them. Think about it. Every time you put yourself last, every time you silenced your voice to avoid conflict, what did it bring you? Did they respect you? Or did they just take more? People are comfortable when you shrink yourself. They'll celebrate your sacrifice as long as it benefits them. But the moment you say, enough is enough, they turn on you. Why? Because your strength terrifies them. It's not your kindness they fear. It's your ability to stand tall in your pain. The power to say, I will not break. And if that scares them, good. Let it. You've spent enough time being what they wanted you to be. It's time to confront the uncomfortable truth. The world doesn't care about you until you make them. So, tell me, when will you stop apologizing for who you are? Do you ever lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you're enough? Wondering if all the pain you've endured has had any real meaning? Have you ever felt that cold, sinking feeling in your chest, as if something inside you is screaming to be freed, but you can't let it out? Fear whispers in your ear, doesn't it? It tells you that you'll never be strong enough, that no matter how hard you try, you're destined to fail. And the worst part? You start to believe it. The world has a funny way of making you doubt yourself, doesn't it? They praise your every move until you start questioning your worth. Every failure becomes a reflection of your inability, a constant reminder that maybe you're not cut out for the life you dream of. Is that your reality? Feeling like you've fallen short, time and time again? Maybe you tell yourself that you'll never be what you want to be, that you'll never be the person everyone else seems to expect you to be. But here's the hard truth. Those doubts aren't yours. They were planted there. Think back to every moment you doubted yourself. Was it when someone told you that you weren't good enough? Or was it the voice inside you that said, maybe they're right? Doubt is a disease, and it spreads faster than you can contain it. Every setback, every harsh word, and every mistake feeds it. It thrives in the darkest corners of your mind, waiting for the perfect moment to take root. The more you question yourself, the deeper it digs. The longer you let it fester, the harder it becomes to get rid of. And eventually, it suffocates your ability to act, to move, to fight. Kavadas fermia. But here's the thing about fear. It's a liar. Fear is loud, aggressive, and persistent, but it has no substance. Fear thrives on inaction, on paralysis. It holds you hostage, whispers to you that you can't move forward. But has it ever truly touched you? Has fear ever really stopped you from getting up and trying again? No. Fear can't touch you unless you let it. Yes, you've been hurt. Yes, life has thrown punches that have left deep scars. But what if I told you that pain isn't your enemy? What if pain is the raw material that can shape you into something stronger, something sharper? Pain isn't here to destroy you. It's here to awaken you. It's in the moments of your deepest suffering that you discover who you really are. The wounds you carry, they're proof that you survive. And that survival, that resilience, is your true power. The truth is, you won't grow by avoiding pain. You grow by walking straight through it. And that's where most people get it wrong. They think that comfort is the goal. They think that happiness is the end game. But the truth is, you will never know your true potential until you're pushed beyond your limits, until the world presses you into the hardest, most uncomfortable spaces, until the pain feels unbearable. Only then will you realize what your true potential, until you realize what you're truly made of. Let me ask you something. How many times have you let fear win? How many dreams have you sacrificed because the pain of chasing them was just too much? When was the last time you stood tall and said, "I will not be broken. I will not be stopped"? Because there's strength in you that you haven't even begun to tap into yet. It's there, waiting for you to acknowledge it. Now think of the last time you faced adversity. Maybe it was a job loss, the end of a relationship, or a health scare. Remember the fear, remember the doubt, but remember this too. You made it through. You survived. And if you did it once, what's stopping you from doing it again? What's stopping you from walking into that darkness and saying, "I'm not afraid anymore"? There's still time for quentability. The struggle you're in right now may feel like it's never ending. It may feel like the darkness is going to swallow you whole. But what if that darkness is exactly where you're meant to be? Because in the silence, in the solitude, when there's no one left to lean on, that's when you find out what you're truly capable of. Pain has always been the most effective teacher. It strips you down to your core, takes away all the comforts and distractions, and forces you to confront what's left. But don't you see? It's in that stripped down state that you grow the most. You're being forged, reshaped, and prepared for something greater. The fear, the pain, the doubt. They're your tools, your raw material. And one day, you'll look back and realize that they were never your enemy. They were the stepping stones to your strength. So tell me, are you going to let fear and pain define you? Or will you use them as fuel to become the person you were always meant to be? Are you ready to stop running from your suffering and start using it to build the future you deserve? What if I told you that everything you've been running from is exactly what you need? The pain, the suffering, the heartbreak. It all has purpose. It's not random. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to build you. And one day, when you're looking back at all the dark chapters of your life, you'll see that they weren't the end. They were the beginning. You see, suffering has been your silent teacher all along, and most of us have been ignoring its lessons. Every tear you've shed, every sleepless night, every moment when you felt like giving up, They weren't just signs of weakness. They were proof of your strength. Pain doesn't break you, it reveals you. It shows you exactly who you are when you have nothing left to give, when everything around you crumbles. It's in those moments of absolute desperation that you find the power to stand up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. Second, do something that causes you pause. Take a breath. Let's face it, the easy road has never been the one worth traveling. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die, where potential remains dormant. Real strength doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from embracing it. Because when you accept that suffering is part of your journey, you stop running from it and start using it. Pain becomes the fire that refines you. It sharpens you, toughens you, and forces you to evolve into something greater than you ever imagined. Do you think the most successful people in this world never suffered? Do you think the ones who've built empires, who've conquered their fears, who've changed the world, do you think they were born with a silver spoon and an easy life? No. They've been through hell and back. They've faced rejection, loss, heartbreak, betrayal. They've battled demons you'll never see. But it was in those moments of suffering that they found their strength. It wasn't the successes that made them powerful. It was the pain they survived, the way they used their darkest moments as the fuel to rise higher. The truth is, there is no growth without struggle. You cannot evolve if everything is handed to you. You cannot become the person you're meant to be if you never face hardship. The person you are today is the result of the battles you've fought, whether you realize it or not. Your scars aren't weaknesses, they're victories. Each one tells a story of resilience, of a moment when you thought you couldn't go on, but you did. You chose to rise. So, ask yourself, what have you learned from your pain? Have you let it defeat you, or have you let it teach you how to be stronger? Have you used your suffering as a reason to quit, or have you turned it into a reason to fight harder? Pain has always been your greatest ally, even if you didn't recognize it. Maybe you're going through it right now. Maybe you're in a storm that feels like it will never end. But I'm here to tell you, that storm is shaping you. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to push you to the edge of your potential, to force you to grow in ways you never thought possible. You are being forged in the fire of your own life. And when the storm passes, you'll stand taller, stronger, and more powerful than ever before. Pain is the price of greatness. Without it, there is no transformation. Without it, you'll remain stagnant, living in the shadows of what could have been. But when you embrace the pain, when you see it for what it is, a tool, a guide, a catalyst for change, you will begin to transform into the person you were always meant to be. So, the question is, are you ready to stop running from your suffering? Are you ready to look it in the eye, face it, head on, and use it to build your future? Because the pain you feel right now is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. The power to rise is already within you. You just have to let the pain bring it to the surface. Remember, You are stronger than you know. And the world, it fears that strength. Now that you know the truth, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let the fear, the doubt, and the pain hold you back? Or are you going to rise above it, using everything you've been through to fuel the person you are becoming? The choice is yours. Right now, you have the power to decide how your story ends and how your journey begins. It's easy to stay stuck, to let the weight of past failures and current struggles pull you down, to let the world convince you that you're not capable. But here's the thing. You were never meant to stay stuck. You were meant to rise, to fight, to become the person you've always known you could be. But that doesn't happen by playing it safe, by staying in the comfort of your fears. It happens by embracing the discomfort and pushing forward anyway. You faced pain. You've been tested. And now, you stand at a crossroads. You can choose to let all of that suffering define you, or you can choose to let it shape you into something unstoppable. There is power in your scars. There is strength in the battles you've fought and survived. The path to greatness isn't a straight line. It's messy, unpredictable, and often painful. But that's where the magic happens. That's where you find your true power. Yeah. So, what will you do now? Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect moment to act? There is no perfect moment. There is no time when you'll feel fully ready, when you'll have everything figured out. You will never have all the answers, but you do have everything you need to take the first step. You have the strength inside you, and you have the fire that's been burning through your struggles. It's time to stop waiting and start acting. No more excuses, no more holding back. You've been given the tools you need to rise above the pain, to push through the doubt, to take the next step in your journey. Every moment you hesitate is another moment you're letting fear and pain win. Don't let that happen. Don't let the voices of doubt and fear steal the future that's waiting for you. Now is the time to step into your power. Your future doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't care about your past failures or your current struggles. It only cares about one thing: what you do right now. Right now, you have the opportunity to choose the life you want to live. You have the opportunity to turn your pain into purpose, to turn your struggle into strength, and to create a future that exceeds all your expectations. So, take a deep breath, look yourself in the mirror, and tell yourself, I am not afraid. I am not broken. I am ready to rise. Because this is your moment. This is your time. You are not defined by what's happened to you, but by what you choose to do with it. And right now, you have the power to choose greatness. It's time to fight for the future you deserve. It's time to stop letting fear control you. It's time to use the pain that once held you back as the fuel that drives you forward. This is your story, and it's not over. You are just getting started. Are you ready to rise?